Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Saturday, so I got to talk about some books. I'm going to talk about the Disaster Diaries, but also going to talk about Free Comic Book Day. Those are books. That's why I got my Spider-Man mug here. Always a fan of Spider-Man, whether it was the comics growing up or the movies today. New Spider-Man movie coming out this summer I'm looking forward to. So we're going to talk about Free Comic Book Day, and we're going to talk about the Disaster Diaries. Hope everybody's weekend is starting out well. First Saturday of May. That's why it's Free Comic Book Day. And I just wanted to let everybody know that coming up pretty soon, in 2 weeks, I'll be traveling. So Coffee with Alain's going to be weird and different, do some from Philadelphia and so forth. 3 weeks from now, having the surgery. Don't know just what Coffee with Alain will be like during the recovery period and some of that. I do plan on going live every day, but it might be different. Might be doing it from the phone, different things. So just letting people know that that's coming up. Also coming up next Friday, going to have a special guest. I don't have his book yet. It's supposed to show up on Tuesday, brand new book on self-defense. And so I'm going to get that book, check it out real quick, and have Randy King on next Friday. So be sure to pay attention for that one. The Disaster Diaries, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Apocalypse by Sam Sheridan. This is an interesting book. You know, there's little segments about, fiction about potential apocalypse type scenarios. But then he goes into different ways that he learned a variety of skills to help somebody in disaster times and so forth. So there's some fiction in there, but then there's some awful good advice on survival. I really liked the chapter when he went and took a course from Cody London, because I like Cody London. I have a couple of his books back on the shelf. Puts out some very solid information on survival. So I found this book, different from a lot of survival type books, but had some very good information in it. And so I did enjoy this. I was reading it sort of slow, a chapter at a time, but he had some practical good advice, as well as mixing it in with how it might be relevant in the future where things get chaotic and we need to rely on self-reliance and the skills and the gear and the tools, knowledge that we have to get us through those situations. So I enjoyed that book. Only book I'm going to talk about this week, because I also did want to announce Comic Book Day, Free Comic Book Day. First Saturday of May is Free Comic Book Day, and comic book stores around the country, I'm not sure if they're outside the country if comic book stores participate, but I know comic book stores all over the United States participate and give away free comics, have specials and sales on other things. I went last year. I've told you, the movie theater at the mall is just a couple blocks away from me. So very close. And that's why I go to a lot of movies there. Well, between here and there is a comic book store. So it's even closer than the movie theater. Stopped there last year and picked up some free comics. Often they're an independent, they're not your main normally comics, your Spider-Man or whatever, the Avengers and things. It'll be some independent comics, some different character and things. And so go in your local comic book store if you like comics, see what they have available. And you might find something interesting that you like, something new that catches your eye. That's what I did last year. And I'm going to stop by the comic book store today and see what they're offering for free and see if anything catches my eye and that I want to pick up and read. I still enjoy comics. I've enjoyed them since I was a kid, and I still read them. And, in today's world, there are a lot of comics geared toward adults only. So, it's a form of reading. And I encourage you to read anything and everything. That's why you see me reading in-depth books. You'll see me reading light comics. You'll see me reading everything in between. Just read. Read for enjoyment, read for education, have fun with it. But if you want a free comic or two, go to your nearest comic book store if you have one close and check out what they're giving away today. Might find something interesting. Want to say good morning to Thad. Appreciate you being here and saying good morning. Good morning, Dixon. Dixon said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Splinter. Those are good comics. Exactly. So there's all sorts of good comic books and things that you can get. So take advantage of free comic book day. Price of everything has gone up. We're spending lots of money. We're trying to save some money because things are getting expensive. So if you can get something free that you might, really enjoy, you might find a comic you really like, go take advantage of it. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Be back tomorrow for another episode of Coffee with Alain. But before you do that, go to Enjoy Life Safely. Get on the newsletter list. I was working on some articles this morning for that. You don't want to miss it. It goes out every Sunday. So go to enjoylifesafely.com, sign up, make it a spectacular comic book filled Saturday, and I will be back to see you tomorrow.